Shivani, you are on mute.
Okay, I'm back. Can you hear me now?
Excellent.
Perfect. That's awesome. Sorry for the little technical glitch in the beginning, but let's begin. Good afternoon, morning, or evening to everyone who joined today from different parts of the world, and a warm welcome to the 16th Pune Design Festival. I am Shivani, your host for today, and we are here at the Gen.D Forum, where the next generation designers will get insights on design careers and also get a deep understanding of the profession of design. Now, let me introduce to you our illustrious list of panelists, beginning with Seema Seth, founder of Studio Sky. Seema, alumna of Srishti Institute, is a communication designer based in Bangalore. She brings in 18 years of hands-on experience in design industry. She also worked for Conference-GEN.D, a global brand communication firm. She was also Studio Sky, a brand design, and also co-founder. She founded Studio Footsie, a design led brand for playful socks. That's quite interesting. Seema received an award for driving the future through creativity and entrepreneurship at the Women Economic Forum in 2017. Welcome, Seema. Our second panelist for today, Professor Vinay Mundra, founding Dean, School of Design, brings 35 years of academic and professional experience in electronic product design, ergonomics, human interface design, prototype development. He is the former dean and director of School of Design at Flame University and Symbiosis Institute of Design, where he established India's first undergraduate program in design and in the domain of product, communication, and fashion design. He was instrumental in launching MTech program in electronic design and technology at CEDT. He served as a member on various academic bodies like Symbiosis International University and also the Pune University. Our third panelist, Akash Aregagar, is an assistant professor at Art and Design, Vishwakarma University. Akash teaches product and UX design. At Abical Design Studio, he designed commercial vehicles like buses and trucks and concept electric bike for a startup. He set up the design department at GNA University, Punjab. He has also worked at Imagine curriculum content as a curriculum content designer, like designing curriculums for colleges basically and universities, and also for different organizations. He focuses on teaching the commercial aspect of design to students so as to make design that is relevant and also commercially successful. Our fourth panelist for today, Professor Manas Mishra, Program Head, Industrial Product Design at the School of Design, UPES, Dehradun. Professor Manas has a rich experience of 18 plus years with design schools like MS Ramaiah, Shrishti School, NTTF. He has conducted design workshops in corporates like HCL Infosys, recently won Toykathon 2021 conducted by Government of India for the game Ram Setu. He's also filed design patents and is an evangelist to promote startup ideas. Our fifth panelist, Professor Jacob Matthew, is a design principal at Shrishti Manipal University. Having completed PEP program from NID Ahmedabad, he has pursued business design throughout his professional journey. He champions the cause of business entrepreneurship for impact and sustainability. He he has undertaken several executive education courses in social entrepreneurship, customer centricity, lean manufacturing, and leadership. Jacob helps the Impact Edge Lab at Industry Foundation to offer thesis projects to final year learners. He continuously curates academic programs that brings together business design, co-creation, and more. Our final panelist, Barish Date, co-founder of Graphics Beyond. Graphic Beyond is a multidisciplinary design studio with a strong focus on signage, environmental graphics, branding, and public art. They're focused on creating memorable experiences for their clients by creating environments that are engaging and involving and compelling. So, welcome again to all our panelists today. And before we begin our panel discussion, I would like to walk you through some basics of design because I know there are a lot of students and parents who have joined in today. So, uh, and that will also prepare us to ask some tough questions to our panelists. So, I'm going to share my screen now and let me know once my screen is visible. Can you see my screen? Perfect. Okay. So, let's start. So, what is design? Um, Is it drawing? Is it decoration? Is it fashion? Is it creativity? Does design cost a lot? Is it arts and crafts? To give you an answer, design is about understanding user needs and also developing insights, thinking about different solutions, making prototypes, producing a new product which meets user needs. A well designed product is both functional and beautiful. And let's just have a look at some of the examples. So here you see a beautiful phone, a Jaguar maybe, an iron, a simple product like an iron, or a teacup, or a piece of furniture, or even a sign like this, a caution sign which you see outside a washroom maybe sometimes, so that people don't slip. So these are some examples, but then is there something called as good design? And what exactly can it be? So, would you consider this as a good design? Or maybe this? Maybe not. It is a bit confusing, I would say. So, what is good design? Good design is simple, functional, easy to understand, easy to use, it's safe, easy to maintain, attractive, desirable. Design is thinking holistically. Let's have a look at this car, the Tata Nano. They thought about the user, the environment, the activities, and the product. Ideally, for an Indian family, making it affordable, fuel efficient, easy to drive on Indian roads, easy to park anywhere. There's so much traffic in most of the metro cities today. So, design is also thinking about the user. You see this couple over here. Would they be able to use a phone like that? They just want to receive a call from the family, or maybe are scared to type in English. So, would we design a phone which is focused on the user needs? Yes, we do need to think about the users. Design is about exploration. You see this paperclip over here, And all of these, the other ones around, are also paper clips. So it's all about exploration. The same thing can be in a different form. Design is also about collaboration and having fun. So yeah, and what all is design? Let's look around. The logos that we see, all of them, someone put thought around it. The currency, brochures, even signages and wayfinding systems, even posters like movie posters, apps and websites. All of these are designed by someone, right? And let's see, what are the different fields of design? Typically, in a college, you would have these three as the main fields: communication, industrial, and experience design. But today, we are going to focus on the second two, that is communication and experience. You can grab a screenshot if you want, just so that you have a better idea. But nowadays, like, there are specializations like service design, sound design, things like that as well. So within the communication design, there would be something typically called as the corporate identity, or you would also make certain marketing materials for these big corporates or even brands. So what kind of marketings? There could be collaterals, brochures, even Instagram posts or TikTok reels are all marketing materials. Magazines and posters. So definitely, the big hoardings that you see on the streets to the digital magazines, physical magazines, different posters, film and video. Of course, we all love. I'm sure most of us love watching movies, be it animated or not. And of course, signage. Let's move to experience design. This is a slightly newer field, not really, but you would say, which includes something like website design, applications for both big industries like the one you see on the left, as well as mobile apps and designs for tablets. So both consumers and as well as for businesses. And of course, our favorite, I'm sure many of you enjoy playing some or the other kind of game. And imagine if you could do something and design games in the future. How cool would that be, especially like maybe within the metaverse? Kiosks and ATMs, interactive TVs, be it your Netflix, be it your smart TVs, be it your cricket match that you watch, the scorecard over there. And then, of course, interactive surfaces, be it smart mirrors, smart surfaces, etc. So, what to expect in a design education? Firstly, you have to immerse with passion, and of course, there are no exams. That's like so great. Courses designed for learners, not students, thinking, not memorizing, stories, not theories, exploring, and of course, not copying, and yep, doing, not asking, interacting, not listening, and a lot of fun. Also, I know there are a lot of parents in the audience today, and you must be thinking, what will my child learn in a design school? And what am I paying their fees for? So, this slide is for you, parents. So, what will you acquire from design education? Uh, of course, a lot of dexterity skills like sketching, rendering, painting, model making, a lot of cognitive thinking, thinking on system level, identifying problems, solving problems, classes from people from the industry coming and visiting the university. Of course, working towards perfection, trying out different ways, and skills which are, I feel, as important as your technical skills, being be it presentation, articulation, and teamwork. So thank you for your time, and let's move to our panel discussion. I'm sure a lot of you have questions related to the design universities, and where should my child go, what should my child pick, or even as a potential student in these universities. So let's begin with our main part of the session, which is the panel discussion. So my first question is to Professor Jacob, and that is, what are the key attributes of an individual who's thinking of taking up design education? Like, what are the qualities he should, self reflect and, okay, fine, I have these, and hence I'm a fit candidate to go to design school.
Right, thank you. I would just put down three sort of words that mean something to me. So the first one I call wonderment, and I will explain in a moment. The second is what I would call grace.
Mm-hmm.
And the third is actually a combination of all of these. So let me talk about wonderment first for a moment. So here we're talking about curiosity, an appreciation for what's around you. So it goes, you are interested in knowing how things work around you, but you're also deeply appreciative of where you are, of nature, the very fact that you're alive. Um, some people express this as a childlike freshness, this
Mm-hmm.
ability to be open and know things. So that's number one ability that a aspiring professional should have. The second is what I would call grace, but it's a combination of two or three qualities. The first one is that of empathy, of being able to relate to other people, but it's not just empathy. There's also an element of compassion, of wanting to do something, not just knowing what the other person is, but wanting to do something, a sense of service.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the third piece is what I call optimism, which is an ability to look at things as a cup half full, not empty. It requires a little bit of courage to try out things that you have not tried before. It requires you to have a sense of identity so that ego is not the most important thing. And lastly, to be able to be open to what's around you. So if I were to composite all of these, the word I would use is grace. The ability
Right.
to um, be whole in a sense. Over to you, Shivani.
Yeah, I think like very well put, like curiosity, empathy, and grace, like having that positive attitude and always seeing the cup half full, like would definitely agree with you. Okay, is Akash here? Uh, I
Yeah,
think
I'm here.
his screen is a bit loading.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll go to Seema. So, Seema, I'm a student wanting to take admission in a design school. Like, firstly, how to choose a stream of design and which institute to put. Like, is there any formula? Is there any, like, steps that I should follow in my head before taking these decisions?
I'll answer the first part of that first. How do you choose your stream?
Yeah.
So I think that can be pretty confusing if I use myself as an example. I think I spent most of my teenage years wanting to do textile or fashion design. But I think the moment I
Mhm.
got into design school, I realized I'm cut out for communication design instead. So it is a process of like understanding it better, questioning it, and trying to, I think, identify your own abilities. And
Right.
design is really vast, right? Like it's although the core remains the same, there are many facets to it. There are several manifestations of
Mhm.
one idea. Can be technical, tactile, visual, tangible, creative, all of that. It can also be just purely conceptual and abstract. It can be two-dimensional, three-dimensional, virtual even. So I think
Right.
it's a matter of also reflecting what your natural inclination is towards.
Right.
As Marie Kondo would say, what brings you joy, what kind of processes you enjoy engaging in.
Yes.
For example, if you are somebody with a slightly more analytical bent of mind and you like working with materials, form, structure, aren't daunted by technical challenges, maybe something like a product design, industrial design, furniture design would be better suited for that student. But if you are a natural storyteller, and you're able to communicate your thoughts and ideas
Mhm.
clearly, connect the dots, maybe you're cut out for communication design. So I
That's
think
right.
it's also kind of reflecting and understanding yourself and therefore identifying where you might be able to sort of contribute the most.
Very well put. Very well put.
Um,
And how do I choose a university? Like,
that's a really tough one. I mean, all the universities are here, so I want to be uh, mindful. But I think, very firstly, I think looking at the curriculum, identifying your area of interest,
mhm.
at maybe evaluating the institute's overall approach to education, their sort of philosophy, if that aligns, maybe with yours, or um, I think, and this is something that I now find really important, is the looking at the institute's interaction with the outside world, with the professional world, because that bridge is so
Right.
important. And that's
Mhm.
what makes what you're studying in college relevant if you're constantly connected with the professional community. Um,
Right.
and I think maybe just attend like college graduate shows, look at the students work, see if that excites you, what sort of work excites you, if the energy of that kind of gets you going. I think those are all the various facets that I would sort of put into that basket.
Definitely. I think it is important to understand like what you're looking for, and again what the university is offering. One thing I would also like, definitely graduate shows and like understanding what the college is doing. One thing I used to do like is connect with people on LinkedIn, like the alumni from that college. I would go back and like check with them, or students who are also studying there right now.
Right.
Just connect with them on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, and ask them questions. And I'm sure most of them would be more than happy to help. Like
Yeah,
what
for
I'm
sure.
looking for, we're learning that in the university
Yeah.
itself. Okay, thank you. Let's move to our next question. This is to Professor Manas. Um, one very common question, and I think this has happened in the last few years prevalently. There are so many coaching classes that sell that, um, to go to coaching classes before coming to a design school. So, is coaching class a must? And from when should a student start preparing for entrance tests?
Okay, hi Shivani, thanks. So let me go one by one actually. So I'll actually build my answer upon Jacob's inputs like those three things. So when you have those three things, actually you don't need any coaching. It's basically it's not like kind of a no things for coaching centers, because when you we used to study, we used to give entrance. I gave my seed exam in 2000. One, so it's like 18 years back, 18, 20 years back. That point of time the scenario was quite different, and the kind of actually we had that brochure, and it was written that you don't need any preparation to apply for seat. But right now the entrance pattern is changed. Like there are three stages. In sometimes we have three stages. One is the written entrance test, then we go for the studio test, and then it follows with the interview process. So preparing those entrance tests is like we have all kind of like analytical or logical reasoning type of questions. Unfortunately, our K plus the 12 12 standards, this coursework they don't teach us. So it's all because of how a person you are and how easily you can articulate those things. Second thing is like how smart you are and how smartly
Right.
you handle questions. And because the designer role is in a such a way that some many of the times we have to converse with the higher management, so that point of time you need to communicate well. So in some
Mhm.
cases when the student is not prepared, so and not
Mhm.
self motivated, you need little bit of handholding, and then the coaching center comes bit handy. But I
Right.
personally feel if you are like having those characteristics what already Jacob told, I don't think you need
Mhm.
a coaching center to coach you for. clearing entrances.
Right,
So,
right,
and
right.
the second part, like from where you start preparing, obviously you need a preparation, may not be from a coaching center, but you need little preparation. It is mostly mental preparation, like how good you are making yourself able to enter into some design schools. First, go and see all
Right.
the design schools, visit, because before
Hmm.
entering into that scenario, you should feel like you are a part of that, and that actually cracks the
Right.
50% of the exam. And you should actually after 10th, I think those 2 years are crucial, like 11th, 12th. You should go and take part in like grad shows and all these things, so that gives you a self preparation time. And last few months maybe you can try out some sample tests, and I'm sure you can crack it.
Things like right, right. I think very, very insightful. And visiting schools, if that's possible, is also a great insight added to what we discussed earlier. Okay, Barish, I have a question for you. Is having a portfolio important to apply to a like a design school, and how important is it?
Your word was portfolio, right, Shivani? Everybody missed out on the question, I think so. There was an audio glitch.
Yes, yes. Oh, sorry. I meant how important is a portfolio for applying to a design school?
So yeah, along with the entrance exams and all the rest of the interviews, the portfolio is an important component, and I think the some of the professors will be better um, poised or well equipped to answer that. But a small genuine request to all students and aspirants is don't aim to make a portfolio, a curated portfolio just to present to them. Carry along your photographs, sketchbooks,
Mm-hmm.
doodles, scribbles, notes, poetries, whatever you can, you have collated, that you have collated over the years, and that's the real portfolio. In today's time and age, a lot
Right,
of educational, the prep classes are helping students, and very respectfully, put together a portfolio. But it's very important that the teachers and the screening faculty get to see the real you. So it could be a clay model.
right.
It could be something that you've made out of loose wastage foils. Yeah, something out of
Right,
cane, something out of cloth tatters. Request, please get them along. Let them see the real you. Let them see the non-curated portfolio, and I'm sure
right,
it'll be a more truthful and honest revelation of what you are. So don't let that go. Along with all the prep classes and all the 2-3 years of preparing for these exams, please carry yourself, your true self along in the form of whatever you can, and allow the
right.
faculty to, yeah. So I think that's very important in today's time and age, when everybody is coming with a crisp A3, A2, A1 curated handbag, and
Mm.
kind of opening it out for the faculty to see. So
Right, right.
don't be formal.
Got it, got it. So that reminds me of a story like when I was applying to design schools, and
Mhm.
there's this one, like there were most of them who came with that very beautiful curated portfolio. And I remember this one student, Mriganka from Assam, and he came with his dad and literally with a bunch of papers in his hands. And he didn't even have a like folder around it. And as as someone who had this polished portfolio gotten, even his work was seen through, and he got in the university as well, and he's doing amazing. He's working in Paris right now as an animator. So like people go a long way. It's just the
teachers,
skill, as you said,
teachers,
that
teachers and design faculty are much smarter than what you think. So
definitely.
don't don't print a label and put it on. Do it right by hand. Use handwriting.
Mm,
Go down to the basics. Um,
right,
anyways.
got it. um, Also, let's move ahead. Professor Vinay Mundra, I want to ask you a question. So, what qualities do you look for in a candidate in order to become a student? I think it's kind of similar to what Jacob sir and Manasa said already. But is there anything in particular while you're interviewing candidates or going through their portfolios? Is there anything specific that you look for as qualities within them?
No, I would just extend what Jacob said. It's being curious, being observant, being inquisitive. Somebody who is asking questions. So in our interactions, we usually expect students to even ask questions, or exhibit their curiosity or their awareness about the surrounding, the immediate surrounding or the larger surrounding
Mhm.
around them. So how sensitive they are, how curious they are, what kind of questions they ask. Okay. And one probably one more thing I just wanted to add. No, the lot of students nowadays come with the curated portfolio, and as it's being said, no, faculty, like Bari said, faculty are smart enough to identify. No, there are patterns. There are very typical patterns we see nowadays. No, whether it's a curated one or the sincerely. In fact, somebody if he brings a very organized portfolio, we have doubts. Probably then we probe more into it. So it's being
Right.
unorganized, being
It's like
candid.
parents doing that.
Yeah,
Right,
being candid
right,
about
right.
their own work. Some students really very lovingly they'll put across. When I was in school, 7th standard, 10th standard, I did this, I did that. So that's something very
Mhm.
vibrantly they are talking about who they are and what they do and what they like. And one
Yeah.
last thing about they somebody would exhibit the sketches, drawings. That's how they have been probably tutored to that there should be some sketching, some drawing, element in your portfolio. I think that's not really
Mhm.
important. It's matter of whichever tool they might use. It could be a camera they might have used, or it could be just some material they might have played with. That's more. It's more important that they are able to express their ideas and thoughts. This tool
Right.
is not something we should be looking at.
Definitely, definitely. We do not want moms in kindergarten what doing the work for the students, right? Like my child got the best
Right,
uh,
right.
outfit or best costume, but the mom did everything, right? So we don't want to see that happening. Definitely.
Yeah, and moms and parents, papas more worried about and putting them through a rigorous so-called coaching or tutoring, and then they coming in front of you as most disciplined, ready to take off kind of. I think
Mhm.
we love more of the candid and as they are being presented by themselves.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Another question again to Akash. I see he is back. So, Akash, is science required as a criteria in like 11th, 12th if I want to
Yeah.
become
Well,
a designer?
well. So design is a very creative field, and anyone with creative mindset and desire to solve problems can study design. Science stream develops your
Right.
innovative mindset as well as curiosity. Commerce stream develops your business
Mhm.
knowledge, and that will help you make designs that are commercially successful. Whereas arts, it will develop your skills to understand your users better. So, design
Mhm.
is a field that makes use of all the things that you have learned in all of these streams. And precisely
Right.
that is why design courses accept students from any of these three streams. It is not
Right.
necessary to learn only science.
Right. Right.
Right.
Got it. And okay. Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's not that you need science, right?
Not
That's
at
your answer.
all. Yeah,
It
that not
is.
at all.
It could be coming from any streams, and you all welcome.
Absolutely.
Okay. Professor Vinay, I want to ask you another question. This is like, what kind of jobs do design graduate gets? Like, what is the job role of a designer if I get a like what can I do after graduating, basically?
Uh, yeah, there are, in fact, no, when students enter no, any school, more than the students, the parents are concerned about. Okay, because
Hmm.
when they draw parallel to professional courses like engineering, no, they are inquiring about the placements. Okay, but
Right.
we are not really concerned about at that point. Okay, because we
Right.
know end of 4 years or for masters end of 2 years, there are plenty of opportunity for students.
Right.
Though currently, it's more in the technology sector or more specifically in the IT sector, there are a good number of opportunities. So we see a lot of specialization guys are getting into UX and UI. But in general,
Right.
I feel, if somebody is patient enough after passing out, maybe couple of months, they would find a job of their choice, for themselves, either in a
Right.
large organization where there is a design department, or in a design house, or maybe with the startup now. Okay.
Correct. Yes.
So there
Yes.
are there
Definitely.
are good number of opportunities even in the traditional specialization domains, as well as in the emerging new cross sectional domains of design.
Right, right. And of course, there's always a way to start something on your own. And there are so many like startup
Absolutely.
opportunities by the government of India as well. Where if you have that drive and that spirit of entrepreneurship, I know we have some entrepreneurs today on our panel as well, and we would love to hear their stories as well. But yes, like there are definitely a lot of options, and I can vouch for that. I graduated from a design school and got hired on campus, and I am happy. Like your kids will get jobs. Don't worry. Like that's
Yeah,
uh,
Shivani, probably I talked about the one scenario, but when
correct.
students are getting into their journey of internships and their projects,
Hmm.
I think that itself creates a path for them to get into the industry, or that probably gives them a direction, whether they want to really seek a job or no,
Correct.
be a job creator, or no, be
Definitely.
on his or her own. So and probably the design schools
Definitely.
need to do a little bit more than just making them a designer. Give them some inputs about how to be an entrepreneur. So I think these two combinations can really do good for them to be design entrepreneurs.
Definitely. Okay. I think we have like 10 more minutes for the panel discussion, and then we'll open it to everyone, for students and parents and anybody who wants to ask questions. So I'll ask you questions related to you. So let's start with Seema. So we've heard that you have won an award on driving future through creativity and entrepreneurship at the Women Economic Forum. So what was the project, and can you tell us a bit about it? Like, what did you do there?
So that was actually for I used to run another business called Footsie, which was a brand of
Okay.
socks. And socks traditionally is in India is recognized as a hosiery category.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, and we kind of broke all the rules of that category. So the brand therefore got a lot of recognition. But I mean, we actually
Mm-hmm.
shut down 4 years back, 3 years back. But the 7 years that we were functional, it got a lot of attention because at that point, in India specifically, socks were very functional. You only got them in brown, gray, black, white.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and I'm someone who's usually in like sneakers and shoes, so I like
Mm-hmm.
to collect colorful socks, and it's kind of impossible to find them here, so I would pick it up if I'm traveling. So just identifying that one gap in the Indian
Mm-hmm.
market is what became the idea behind Footsie. Um, yeah, and it was a brand that, I mean, being a designer, you always like to create your own something. So we really had fun with the brand. We tried our best to create a delightful experience for the consumers with our packaging, with the way we sent our products. The product
Mm-hmm.
itself was, I mean, our kind of one of the default we had is we will never do like boring colors. So we would play really, with louder colors, with patterns, with a lot of, geometric designs or floral designs, which you don't traditionally see in socks.
Right. On socks.
Um, yeah, but I mean, due to production issues, we actually had to wind down. But it was
Mm-hmm.
a fun experiment, and I think because we put in so much sort of love and attention into it, it got a little recognition, and yeah, they're
Beautiful.
moving forward.
That's beautiful. Okay. Akash, I have a question for you. So, could you elaborate a bit more on the commercial aspect of design and, like, share some insights on how to make designs that are relevant to the market and also commercially successful at the same time? I think we've lost Akash. I'll come back to that question. Hopefully, he's back in some time. But let's move to Professor Manas. So, for which project did you win this Toykathon competition? And can you, like, walk us through the experience and the process of creating the game Ram Setu?
Uh, Frankly speaking, I don't consider Ramayana and Mahabharata as like our mythology. It's like history. People
Mm-hmm.
who had invaded us, like Mughals and British, they have put this thought that these are mythology. It is actually our culture.
Right.
So building on
Mm-hmm.
those things, this game Ram Setu is designed like the way the Setu Bandha has been means made from Rameswaram to Sri Lanka. So initially, some
Right.
pillars were they are like tree trunks. Then they put these
Mm-hmm.
rocks, then sand, and where you find that Rama written on the stones and that floats. That was also part of that. So initially, we tried to create a game of cooperation. Like here in this game, you will not able to win
Okay.
unless until you assist someone else, because this is a actually is an event of assistance, because this long bridge has never been
Mm-hmm.
done ever. So the it is based on our normal dice. So dice was specially made, like it's written Rama, then one trees, two trees, then stones, and you roll the dice, and there is one side is the Rameshwaram side, and the other side Lanka. The graphics were there. I could have showed the graphics, but we have actually filed the registrations for that. And then the
Right.
dice you roll, and you have certain pawns. It's a four-player game. You can even play with two. It's like the pawns are like Hanuman, Sugriva, and the squirrel, and all these characters, and they actually support each other. And then the bridge is actually been made from one. It's a 20 steps process, and through dice you find out your luck,
Mm-hmm.
and then it will go to Lanka. And from there actually the Banaras, when they made the Setu, they also inspect it. Like while coming back, they have to inspect. Like bridge inspection need to be done. So the second phase of the game is
Right.
about the inspection. Like it is purely like kind of a joy
Mm-hmm.
moment. You put two Ramas and you go to the second place and you shout Jai Shri Ram, and it was quite fun.
Right.
So it is the one more game was also there, which is we have presented to Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi. It is around Arogya. So the Arogya,
Okay.
like all our, because I'm in Dehradun, and this area is quite rich with natural herbs and all this the medicinal plants. So we got
Mm-hmm.
some around 40-50 medicinal plants and made a game based on the Monopoly game. And where the kids and
Interesting.
the adults, they get like a pinch of these herbs, where you can train yourself through gaming, that for cold what the herbs is needed, for bellyache what the herbs is needed, if your stomach pain is there what the herbs are needed, that you play through games and you can uh, practice it actually. So this is all about Toykathon. Few students have also won awards regarding this. Is a digital game. There's under student category. That is the name was Vedarya. That is related to the Vedic
Okay.
mathematics. How you teach the students. So it's fun. Like we should participate in this
Interesting.
kind of events, because it's anyways a $6 billion industry, and all the money is going to China. Okay.
Definitely. It's beautiful that you've created so many indigenous games and like reviving the culture and history of India. So like that's really great. Moving on, let's go to Professor Jacob. And I have this question for you that what drove you to be part of social innovation projects, be it industry crafts, spring health water, working and empowering people at grassroots level? Like what was that drove you, and how do you manage being part of so many organizations?
Okay, so I'll do this as quickly as I can. I think one thing is that a lot of design is perceived to be elitist. Normally, we make things a little expensive. Whenever designers touch something, the cost goes up. Um, so, much like economics, everybody believes that there'll be a trickle down. If you design good things, then it'll trickle down to the lower parts of lower social classes as well, and economic classes. But it
Right.
doesn't really happen that way. So it was really that most designers were focusing on the top 10% of the economic ladder, while the other 90% were being ignored. And I had some
Mm-hmm.
mentors sort of push me that way, saying that, hey, look at the other 90%. So that's one.
Right.
The other thing about being able to do more things or many things is that if you feel that your work is purposeful, and in yesterday's session one of the speakers mentioned that it's just not just about function, but it's also about meaning. But if you find your work meaningful, that tends to be very energizing, and you end up finding that you have more hours of work. The other thing it also does is that it sort of blurs the boundary between work and life, and work
Mm-hmm.
becomes life becomes work, and you're not under any sort of stress. No, I'm working too much, or I'm not giving enough to my family. All of that sort of resolves itself when you're doing something purposeful. And lastly, I would say
Mm-hmm.
that to be able to do all this, you need to get out there and be there. And you don't wait for things to happen. So we have a saying in our office. It goes as ready, shoot, aim. You don't
Mm.
aim, spend a lot of time aiming. The moment you're ready, you get on with it, and then you correct as you go along. And I like to tell a lot of people, my colleagues, and students who work with me, is that luck doesn't just happen. You have to make it happen. So for that, you have to put yourself out there so that
Mm.
people see you. I would say for young people, volunteer like crazy, because the kind of experiences that you get to volunteer will sort of decide what you will do for the rest of your life. So don't just wait there, get on with it. Yeah, back to you,
Definitely.
Shivani.
Yes, I think like I'm ready and I'm going to shoot in. I'm going to remember that next time whenever I have to, whenever I have a self doubt, like, should I really take this up? Ready, shoot in. Barish, I have the next question for you. I know your organization works for a lot of like wayfinding, signages, and huge projects for malls. So, what are the key learnings or attributes to keep in mind when you work on massive projects like wayfinding or signages?
It's audible. It's all about context, Shivani. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's all about so two three aspects. We are never an independent studio working on the wayfinding of a mall or a residential complex or a public park or a commercial complex.
Mm-hmm.
It's collaboration.
Right.
It's all of this is a collaborative effort. In the case of wayfinding, we work very closely with the master planners of the mall, with the principal architects and the interior designers. But the takeaway from all this is that it's an intensely collaborative process.
Mm-hmm.
So one should pack the ego into a small box and keep it away. Um,
Right.
Seamlessly try and integrate, and firstly start with absorbing. And I'm going to digress a bit and suggest that all students and their parents, for the earlier 2 3 4 years, learning for life, etc., is on one side, should be like an absorbing tissue, should be like
Hmm.
a tissue of a roll, and not only the students but their parents also. Plan your summer vacation such that you're 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 doing something which is of interest, passion, and whatever stream of design that you're pursuing. Your child may be pursuing animation. It's worth visiting places that poke this interest, that influence and
Mm-hmm.
inspire you. So it's not only about the curriculum and the entire this entire bit resting on the faculty to teach. Yeah, but they also can participate in this journey. I'm going to come back to your question. Is a collaboration, two teamwork, and three is learning from past experiences and from users. So that's the
Mhm.
takeaway for the wayfinding for any property, not only malls.
Right,
All right.
right. Okay, I think as Jacob said, as well as you, that you have to be like an absorbing tissue and volunteer. Like as students, we have to make sure that we go to many places, explore different things, and also like yeah, vacations. If you can go to places of your interest, convince your parents that I want to go here and see this thing. If that's of your interest, definitely.
And we are in such a wildly great country.
Mm,
There will be very few other countries, not only because this is not some misplaced patriotism. We
right,
are we are absolutely in such a wildly fantastic country where the north, south, east, west are so diagonally opposite in culture,
right,
in language, in food, in all sorts of various matrices that it's worth going and absorbing and kind of doing national journeys and not straight away saying, "मैं
definitely.
product designer भी सीख रहा हूँ, let's go to Basel. Next time,
Mm,
animation, let's go to Canada." There's a whole lot of stuff to be learning from puppetry in Rajasthan to cane weaving in Assam. Let's
yeah.
absorb our local bit first, and then kind of also give ourselves exposure beyond the national boundaries.
Definitely. And this is a question from me. You worked on strategy and identity design for Shah Rukh Khan's wife, I think, Gauri Khan. Is that true? And can you just tell us how that experience was?
So one is we only spoke over phone, so there's nobody going to Mannat.
Okay.
Yeah, A
Right.
and two. I think what we did for a small NGO was much more
Right.
meaningful. But in
Right.
today's time and age, a superstar's wife and that identity gets highlighted and
Mhm.
shadows others. But that's the way life is. It was a great it was a good fulfilling experience with Gauri and team. And what we did was we captured. She's into design of high-end furniture, very bespoke
Okay.
stuff, adding
Okay.
her name and her style to the furniture pieces that she designs. And our
Mm-hmm.
entire identity bit rested on developing an identity which not only kind of becomes a mark of her bespoke high-end design, but also
Right.
is able to kind of be translated into a small coin that goes onto each piece of furniture. And
Right.
it's a typography based work, and
It's a
yeah,
seal, I think.
it's a
The
seal.
logo is
It's
like
a
a
seal.
seal.
It's a seal. We have a
Interesting.
small animation of this bit, which is there on our site, and yeah. So yeah, it was a positive experience.
That's nice to hear. I think Akash is back, and I'll ask you one of the second last question, I would say, for today. Could you mentioned that you're interested in the commercial aspect, and like, could you elaborate what is the commercial aspect of design, and also share some insights on how to make designs that are more relevant and commercially successful?
Yeah, so thank you. Any design that we make is not a piece of art. I mean, design is made considering consumer in mind, considering a user in mind. So we need to always keep in mind that there are consumers who are going to buy your product, and
Mm-hmm.
more the customers, more the profit. Very simple. So we need to always try to make designs that are easily, I mean, that are targeting larger audience. We should make a design that is addressing a large population, and so yeah, that is the basis of it. And then how do we make designs? So first thing is you should be really good with your user research. We should understand what are the problems faced by users, what are unmet needs of users that we can target, so that users can, if they find out that their unmet needs are fulfilled by your design, they would definitely rush to buy your product. So we should also target on frustrations of users and all of those things, and understand what motivates users, and understand the mental aspect, the psychological aspect in that design, and is there a way you can tap into that, and capture that side of a customer. And then once you do that, when you have a design that is that is usable, when you have a design that taps into the emotional or psychological aspect, when you have a design that is comfortable to use, it's a complete design. So I think that is the way to go about it. And the most important thing is, any design is, it takes a lot of investment for any design. Like Jacob earlier said, like all the designs, they need a lot of whenever any designer touches anything, it the cost goes higher. So you need to be so there is a lot of investment, and in order to fulfill that, get the investment back, you need to make sure that your design is financially viable, your product is financially viable. And for that, we need to just basically one thing: investment versus profit. So how much you put in versus how much you take out from the design. How much you take out is dependent on how much profit your design makes, and how many copies you sell, or and how many customers prefer to buy your product. So that is all we should target for maximum number of customers, viability of the product, and the three factors that we mentioned. Over to you, Shivani.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, what I understood is numbers, like mass, like how
Yeah.
many people can you reach out to, how relevant the product is to the masses.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the quantity matters, is what I got right.
So basically, tapping into what user wants is the most important thing.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And do you think that there should be a bit of Excel sheets and economics taught to design students as well, like as
No, in not so much in detail, but we should just let them know that there are some investments that need to be made. Like every designer needs to be paid, right? So the company has to recover that cost. We
Mhm.
also, like, similarly, whenever a prototype is to be made, there is some cost involved.
Right,
So yeah, and usability testing also takes a lot of money. So all these things take investment, and there should be
right.
returns for any company. Any company, I
Mhm.
mean, every company does any business for money, for profit. So they should get what they desire. So for that, we
Right.
should basically teach students that there are these aspects as well. There is investment, and whatever you design should make profit to your company.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've reached our 1 hour mark, and let's start with the presentations of different universities. And after that, if we still have time, I definitely would love to get to know you more and ask a few more questions. So let's start with Srishti Manipal University. Is Ramesh here from the college? Okay. Uh, okay. Next, we have Manas from UPES University, UPES College. Manas,
Yeah,
your
I
stage is
can.
yours.
Fine, let me share my screen. So before I
Yes.
go ahead with the presentation, I would like to show one small video around 30-40 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Please bear with me with the audio. Hi, so myself
Hello,
Manas.
welcome to the postgraduate program in Artificial Intelligence
One
and Machine
second,
Learning
this
offered by the University of Texas at
YouTube.
Austin in collaboration.
Let me close this one. So is it visible? Shivani, is it visible?
Yes, yes, it's visible now. Yes, yes, we can see it.
Hi, myself Manas from School of Design, UPES, Dehradun. So as you can see the backdrop of this slide, this what my university looks like. We are just in the foothills of Himalayas. And if you see these top corners, actually we get ice over here in winters, generally in January. Okay. So next, this is a design school set in the backdrop of engineering, future technology, and art. What is the basis of this design school? A co-influencing creativity and technology. Studying design at UPS School of Design will facilitate to hone your distinctive viewpoints as well as the perceptions of social values, thus shaping the design and comprehensive surroundings. We have like a mixed blend of faculties, both are from industry and academia, and many of the faculties are from NID, IIT Guwahati, IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi. I myself is from IIT Delhi, MIT Pune. Then many of the faculties have been much of international exposures also, like IIT Turin and PCU Birmingham. We have faculties from over there. As you see, the whole design school is actually divided under two clusters. So now we are stepping towards the cluster culture. That is like one is the industrial design cluster and other one is the communication design cluster. So first I will go with the industrial design clusters. So under this we have few courses which is predominantly uses industrial design as their pathway. One is product design. We have BDES, MDES, and also MDES integrated product design. So this is all about the product design is concerned primarily with the relationship between product systems, users, and society. Most of us knows what product design is. The students basically goes with the kind of after passing out, the students generally go for programs like our companies like VIP, LG, Desmania, Design Directions, Godrej. These are few of the companies who are the recruiters from UPES. Then comes the transportation and mobility design. We don't call it car design or something because we generally focus on transportation, and which is like picking something from one point to other. So here this we deal with like if you take human, it will be like cars or trucks or trains. But we are also focusing on something related to goods carrier or any kind of locomotives. So here the students learn about this is basically a sketching heavy exercise, but we also do innovations in transportation design. This is one of the popular course here, and most of the students get awards in Siam and all those competitions in transportation design. Students from UPES. Then interior and retail space design. This is launched 3 years back, so the students are actually in the final year right now. So here we deal with all the commercial interiors and also domestic interiors. We are also looking ahead for experience centers where most of these AR VR technologies are used for giving a better experience for the interiors. These are all the part of the curriculum in UPES. So this is the third industrial design programs. Then we have fashion design. As the name says, the fashion design is more about representing how well you make the garments visible to the users. And it's not only about fabric or garments. We are also like in UPS actually it is more focusing towards a future and and through technology. So all the courses whatever we are having, some a major portion of it actually focuses on technology. We have actually engineering schools and computer science schools and law MBA here. We most of these projects are interdisciplinary. That's why we could bring in a lot of technology into our day-to-day learning process. Then comes the lifestyle and accessory design. This is a pretty new course in UPES in School of Design. Actually, here in UPS, we are actually blending fashion design, product design, and design ethnography into this lifestyle and accessory design. This is beyond what product design is. Here, more of personalizations and not mass production is involved. So here, the students will be coming from the second. The students are in foundation right now. As all the design school generally operate, we also have the foundation program where the kids generally explores their ideas or explore their interests. They are exposed to all these elements, finer part of it, then social and commercial aspects of design. Then in the second year, like third semester onwards, they choose their own pathways, like whether you want to go for a product design or transportation design or communication design. Students, that is generally starting from the third semester. Here, the next cluster, which is the second cluster in the most larger cluster of School of Design, is communication design cluster. Under this communication design, we have graphic design, which is the most popular course in all design schools generally. We float BDES program, NDES program, and also integrated MDES program in graphic design courses. Here, the students is basically exposed towards the visual concepts that inspire and to inform and transform the graphic designers to create new things. It's all learn the art of understanding people and their needs. Everywhere we keep the user as the primary thing, and then we build all this solution in and around the user. So generally, the key recruiters are all the advertising companies or the media companies. Then, and nowadays, like after pandemic, UI UX is the prime most recruiter everywhere. So these are some of the companies they visit. Animation and VFX, we have BDES communication. It falls under BDES communication design. This is here. This also started 3 years back. Though the students are in final year right now, but students have done internship in very good design studios like Toons Animations, Dhruba, then all these. Startups, there are many animation startups who are also working for medical application of animations. So our students have also worked in those areas. We also have interaction design. This is the like placement friendly this department, where we have BDES, MDES, and also integrated MDES courses for interaction design. Here we actually builds in all this technology aspect of interaction design. It is not only about UI or UX. We also do product interaction. We also do transportation interactions, and we use technologies like AR, VR, and the kind of students who are from interaction design, along with product design and engineering students, they are actually making robots in our labs. So this is the kind of course where the TCS, Infosys, LTI, all these big companies come and pick students from this particular branch. And game design, this is one of the newly, like 2-3 years back, we started game design. Officially, we have a gaming launch right now in School of Design where you can play games. So the students actually start from it, not like you directly go and jump into the digital game side. We also teach them how to go about the board games, traditional games, and what is the gameplay, how you build all these levels in games, and then expose them to all these digital games, which is the bigger business in generally in the European countries. Then what are we connect with the students to the world? Like we have a few of the connections where the students go for semester exchange or year exchange, or maybe for the final project. We have connections with like Coventry University and North Dakota State University, Istanbul Bilgi University, where already our students have gone. And this is pre-COVID actually. Within this COVID two years, and we could not send the student because of so many restrictions. We also is a member of World Design Organization, through which we are getting a lot of contacts. And recently we have done MOUs with University of Adelaide, L'École Design, University of Calgary, then World Design Organization renewed, then NTU Nanyang, then RMIT and IED. So these are the potential, few of the potentials universities are still in pipeline where we are going to sign MOUs with, in in recent future. Then what is the infrastructure we have when we are talking about a design school? It's built on the two things. Like there are three pillars of a design schools. One is the faculty, second is the students, and most importantly the infrastructure which is actually being used, and then the students does miracles. So we have few of the labs, like these are some of the facilities. We have 14 to 15 labs we have, where starting from foundation till MDes students all are allowed to work even during nights. So you just have to take a special permission, like because this is a place where actually like in night it gets little scary. So we need to take permissions, and there are your instructors and also some of the guards are available just in case you need something. Then these are some of the music production labs, where generally it is used by animation and graphic students who are interested in film and videos. Then our ceramic studios, this is majorly used by foundation students generally who does works in ceramic. Some of the plaster of Paris works is also we do in this particular studio. We have a recently developed fashion studios with high tech machines, and this fashion the students are in final year right now, third year. So one batch of MDes fashion design is pass out. Then it's called Cintiq Studio. We generally boast about our Cintiq Studio because we have 60 Cintiqs in School of Design, 30 in one lab and other the 30 in the other lab. So this is the lab which is the most used lab in the School of Design, because everybody wants to get a hang of Cintiq, and they generally it is taken over by all this. Graphics, animation, and transportation design kind of work. Then we have a Mac studio. Considering the latest technology and the kind of software requirements, we have developed a Mac lab with 30 machines, and generally it is used by graphic students and animation students. This, which is morely communication related work, communication design related work. And we have a CAD studio. This is predominantly used by the product design students. All these are high-end machines. We generally make our alias models in Cintiqs, and then we render it here, because you need a special machines to render those big models, alias models. So this is predominantly used by product design students. This is the gaming lounge I was talking about. So we have taken subscription of few games which are already there in the market, and also our students do game pitch. The submission, they submit work as the game pitch, which can be taken forward, and with proper funding you can develop the full game. Then we also have a VR studio. This is one of the latest studio added to the communication design cluster. So we have like Oculus glasses and all these VR equipments, AR equipments, and the students are actually doing miracles by using these labs. This is one of the, like we boast of this kind of labs where the students is really exposed to the technology. Then this is the one of the setup for animation students, where this is this lighting tables where they can actually sketch the characters and make multiple multiple versions of the same character. This is the wood workshop. This is predominantly used by our interior furniture design students and product design students. This is where we use MDFs, wood, and plastics, and all these things in this studio. The recent studio is having a capacity of 30. So when the students become more than 30, we split them into batches. This is one of the studio which is one of used for transportation design students. All these industrial clay we use, it is imported from Japan. And through by making all these models, few of our students have actually won awards in Siam design competitions, which is predominantly for automotive designers. This is the thermocol lab next to the clay modeling lab, because most of the clay models are actually done in thermocol, and on that we put 1 or 2 inches of clay. So that's why it is next to each other. This is one of the thing actually I'm proud of. We are having a good paint booth where you can grade like industrial quality paint, this uh, industrial quality painting you can do in this lab. This is one of the messy thing because you will get colors here and there, but I seriously love this place. What is our like teaching and learning process? The entire teaching and learning process involves hands-on approach to explorations, research, skill development, creative conceptualization, visualization, and digital media and communication techniques, and also the presentation skills. We believe recently we have started bringing technology into our pedagogy because this is the way the university is also going forward, and we found out one key point in design, that design without technology will not survive in long run. So that's why we are collaborating and bringing new courses into the design curriculum, so that the students who is going out of the school will not get lost inside the technology world. What are the students placement? We had high rate of students placement before COVID. It used to be like 100%. Now it has been dropped down a bit. These are few of the recruiters from School of Design, since like we established in 2013, and since last 7 8 years we had actually crossed more than 60 to 70 recruiters. These are some of the recruiters who are like big brands, but we also have recruiters from the fresh startups, and they pay better than these big brands. Collaboration with industry, yes, we have few collaborations with industry, and we have advisors. This is my advisory board for School of Design. We have Professor Ashok Chatterjee, who had already headed NID. We have Prakash Murthy, sir, who is a somebody in animation industry. We have Sanjay Sharma, who is actually the CEO of Tata Interactive, and he has vast area of experience in experience design. Then we have Alice, who is actually taking care of our game design advisory. We have Anuj Prasad, he is the founder of Desmania Design, Rajesh Tahiya, and also Narendra Ghate as our advisory board. So, what is the life in campus? Like, this is what the students actually aspire most. Like, what we do in campus. Like, our campus is bit vibrant. Like, we have sports facilities, we have cultural facilities. Besides design, there are many things you can do in UPS. This is many of the students have their own community. Even UPS, we have a school for life, a separate school which takes care of the inner building and the confidence building, and also it gives you the learning of lives, what will be useful in your future career. So that they have some good clubs, like there is a art and design club. There are many clubs actually. We have robotics clubs, we have so many clubs, but generally the School of Design students go for this art and design clubs and adventure club. We have an adventure club. So we hire actually good climbers, and they take students for all these trackings and all. So and we have like nice terrain over here just besides the university. We have big jungle, so we go inside. Like we sometimes we spot wild animals also. So that is the like cream of UPS, that we are nature blessed. And yes, we are the students enjoy themselves in involving themselves by doing some cultural events. We do the spring festivals also in UPS. I'm actually, while presenting all these faces, these students are actually they are pass out of 2020, 1920, and then this COVID started and we have to stop all these things. So slowly things are picking up, and I'm sure the current students will do better than this. Thank you. So this is what is all about UPS School of Design. I hope I have not exceeded the time. So welcome aboard. Let's meet in UPS. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Manas. This was very insightful. And I would like to invite Mr. Ramesh Karkul from Shrishti Manipal University to present their college.
Hi, finally I'm back here. I was there, but I think I was there an audience. So I'll quickly share my screen. Can you see the screen or?
Not yet.
Why is that? It's showing me to the. It's telling me I can't share a screen. Browser is not permitted to share screen. Learn how to fix it. Is there a technical problem from the other side?
Do you have a Google Chrome browser by any chance on your machine? This works only with Google browser.
Are you on
The-
Chrome, Ramesh? You need to use Chrome.
I'm
Yeah.
using Chrome. I'm using Chrome.
Does anybody else have his presentation so that they can share and he can present? Does the PDF team have it?
It's okay if I send it to you.
Yeah, you can send it to me. Otherwise, the video is there. They can first start with the video while we sort this out.
Sure.
Yeah. we
Yes.
can.
So ADI can share the video.
Okay, great.
Great.
I'll just check whether I can do it again. I've sent it to Jacob. Maybe I have to share the entire screen and then move to presentation. Is it working? No, it doesn't seem to work. Jacob, you have it?
To have
Yeah,
the same
you're on
problem.
mute.
Ramesh, I think let's just take a couple of minutes and just top this out, because I think we're running out of time as well. I mean, just to set it going, Ramesh, I would probably just ask you a few questions, and I'm doing this
Sure, sure.
just off the. Um, okay, so we've got a sense of the different programs being offered through the videos that were shown. But Ramesh, if I were to ask you, what really sets apart what we do at Srishti? You have mentioned about navigate, nurture, some of those values in the presentation. Could you just walk us through that?
Yeah, I mean, basically now because of the so-called technical error, so I'll try and, I mean, even basically I look at my own presentation and I talk about how, who's sharing this? This is Jacob.
No, I'm trying to. I think I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm sharing.
Yeah, so I let me get the things rolling. So I was just looking at this whole idea of, yes, you saw the whole array of courses from undergrad to kind of postgrad, PhD. What we do here is, you all know that it's a 25-year-old institute. We started in 1996, and the Srishti Institute I mean, in fact, it was called Srishti School of Art, Design, Technology, and then it became Srishti Institute of Art, Design, Technology. Then now Srishti Manipal. So now we are part of Manipal, and we are Manipal. So in this 25 years, as it happens with any institute, the layer upon layer gets built, right? So I mean, one thing I think, we have built an ability to endure, right? Through the ages, through the changing times. If you look at 25 years, I think a lot of it has changed, and we changed a lot, in the sense we started with 1 year foundation, 4 year specialization, 2 year foundation, 2 year specialization, 1 year foundation, 2 year navigable curriculum, choice based curriculum, to 1 semester project, 2 semester project, and then 4 year program plus 3 year undergraduate program. Then we had 2 year masters. Even before that, I think we started um, advanced diploma, and then it became masters. Within masters, we started MA, and then MFA, MDes. In a way, what you see is, sometimes when you dig the earth, you kind of see the um, layers of things happen to it. So you can almost see that when you look at Srishti. So basically, you'll be, when you get into Srishti, you will be plugged into this system, which even in the film might have shown you that it's a complex system. It might be really, I mean, I can even use the word, it might be confusing, even when you go to our website. So that the reason for that is that there are many layers built one on top of the other, and I guess we were the first or second. In fact, I think we're the first design college which included art and technology in it. So I mean, in terms of, I'm not going too much into the courses we offer. It's already there on website, but it it goes into various extent, like creative education to creative writing, computer, human based. I mean, using that as a medium. to communication as a visual communication or information design. We do look at, you must have seen that we do look at ecology, we do look at sustainability, not for the sake that these are the buzzwords, but we have come into it slowly over the years. So I think what you do, coming back to Jacob's question, is about we built an endurance, and coming to Srishti, you get into that building that endurance. Now, how the endurance get built is again goes back to what I was explaining, that we start getting adapted to the changes. We adapted to the changes the way I told you, in terms of pedagogy, in terms of curriculum design, in terms of being with people in the middle of Yelahanka, and whole lot of issues around being in the city with people, college with more like islands, N1, N2, N3, N6. These are our words for different campuses. Students go from one campus to the other for various things. So it was not built um, on lots of facilities. It's not built on big infrastructure, which we are going to as Manipal, we are building a big campus, big infrastructure, all that. But all these years, I think the endurance, adaptability came from the fact that we had to do that. Uh, So that's something that when I look at my students, in fact, I just 20 minutes ago, I met some of our students who, this is exactly the conversation, was how they build the idea of adaptability. In order to do that, we had to build an ecosystem. If you go to our website, you do see that a kind of ecosystem which is built around, whether in terms of people who are practicing music or Sufism, where you see Kabir Lab, you see Jacob's lab, and you see entrepreneurship, working with people. That's the motive there, and I mean really working towards, say, social change. Like that, there are many labs and centers which becomes an ecosystem which really runs the machine. I mean, it really influences the pedagogy. It influences the way we look at the world outside. So that really, what does that do to students is that it builds an ability to, coming back to Jacob's words, navigate and negotiate. I mean, we felt that education is not one-sided. There is a negotiation. It all started. I mean, NEP has come now, which has become a buzzword now. But 10 years ago, when we started saying, okay, students should sign up, students should choose. In fact, I remember, I'm an old furniture here. I've been here for 20 years. So when we even did this experiment of students creating their own set of courses when they move from first year to second year within the given parameters, and then we did this whole conference and why you want to do that, why you want, how you want to do that course. All kinds of experiments have been done around that, and then we kind of now said students have to sign up. So when you come to Srishti, if you come to 4-year program, you do 1 year of foundation, and in the 2 years you kind of really choose your courses. In a 3-year program, it works in a different way. It builds on focus one after the other. So it's more of a funneling process. So all these connects to this idea of navigation and negotiation. So in 3-year program, negotiation is to do with learning within the four walls of institute and learning in the industry, bringing the industry back to the college, and taking the learning from here to the industry. So it's a two-way process that happens in 3-year program. It happens differently in masters, navigate, negotiate, nurture, where they come with their own set of ideas, and then they work with these centers and labs, and then they create their own project. So all that, what does it say? It really talks about people-centeredness, and how do we kind of look at various practitioners who kind of teach, mentor. Sometimes we don't call them faculty; we call them facilitator. The reason is that it's a negotiable space, in the sense that I facilitate your learning rather than I teach as a faculty. So, in effect, basically, it creates a multifaceted environment, choice choice based navigable system where different students' paths crisscross. It kind of sometimes it contradicts, sometimes. So there is space to kind of really let yourself loose. There is space for you to fail really fast and then say, okay, I I failed, and how do I pick myself up and move forward? That's where I talked about endurance and adaptability. So I mean, all in all, I'm just maybe talking about student experience, and basically Srishti is built on that rather than faculty oriented system. So you will see mathematician here, you will see an engineer here, you will see uh, biologist here. So you see different kinds of people, and then you wonder what are they doing. Um, Microbiologist to mathematician to educationist to philosopher to, so that's an interesting ecosystem, because in order to build that endurance, we understood long time ago in art and design, it is a collaborative process where you need to bring different kinds of thinkers together in order to make it work. So that's basically gist of what Srishti Manipal is all about. You have, I mean, I'm not going through the courses, and because that will take a really long time. We offer almost around 40 different courses across undergrad and postgrad. You can have a look at that. We will be in another 6 months, 6 months to 8 months, we down the line, we will be moving to a new campus, which is huge, which it is built on its own land, and we will be in another larger ecosystem of, like any other university, where there are other colleges, institutes, and we work with them. There's more scope for collaboration beyond within Srishti. I think that's an exciting thing to look forward to.
Yeah.
Jacob, a
So,
long answer for your short
yes,
question.
and I would just add that as somebody who's a recent entrant into Shishti, I've been there now I think for 6 or 7 years. I think what really gets me to work every day there is the fact that things keep changing. A course 3 years ago and a course, the same course today, I probably would not recognize, because it has changed, evolved so much. And a lot of it has evolved in relation to what the industry demands and what changes are happening in the world. So that's something that I find very, very fascinating about Srishti. Just when you've gotten comfortable running a particular course that you've polished and honed very carefully, the carpet gets pulled out from under you, and you have to go back to the drawing board and redesign it for today's world, because in 3 years the world has changed. So that's something super fascinating about Srishti, I must say. And like Ramesh said, it's while we are moving into this fantastic new campus that many of us were involved in designing, it's really not about the campus, it's about the people. And um, we have, he was just mentioning the biologist. Somebody was asking me, what is a biologist whose specialty is frogs in the Western Ghats doing in a design school? And I have to say that, he has created so many programs, which is citizen designed, so many citizen science programs. And, this aspect of what we would call transdisciplinary learning is so critical to Srishti, especially in the masters and the postgraduate programs. I see from the audience that many of you are already graduates from design schools. I haven't seen any high school students. So I would actually say that that is something that the postgraduate programs and the fact that we have an integrated PhD, a 5-year seamless PhD. You can come in with an undergraduate degree, do your master's, and then qualify and complete your PhD in 5 years. So that's another plus that we have. Over to you, Shivani. I think we are up on time. Thanks.
Thank you so much. And I think I'm really excited to see this new campus that's coming up. It would be great if you could also share the link of the website or something, so that people who missed the presentation could just go through it if that's possible. Besides that, I see one question, which is what should aspirants look for while selecting which design school to enroll into? Anybody wants to take this question up? Maybe let's do one thing, because Mr. Ratan is waiting. Let him present his university, and we'll take the questions at the last bit. All of you can also put any questions that you have for our panelists in the chat window or in the Q&A section. Also, you can raise your hand and ask questions. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. Whilst you think of questions, I welcome Ratan sir from RV University. You can present your university now.
Yeah, thank you, Shivani. I'll start my screen share. Okay.
You can see your screen.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to introduce RV University's School of Design and Innovation. Professor Vinay Munira is already part of the panel. I head the program, product design program at RV University. For all of you who are from Bangalore, RVI is a very well-known education institutions are very well-known. They've been here for more than 80 years, and then more than 20 years, 20 institutions, including famous personalities like Anil Kumble and Ashok Nayak, who was the former director of HAL. RV University is a relatively new venture which started in 2021. We started with the School of Design and Innovation, three schools: School of Design and Innovation, School of Economics, School of Liberal Arts. And this year, we're also adding School of Computer Science and School of Business as part of RV University. RV University is a state private university set up in 2019. Our focus is to be a world-class university with orientation for research, industry collaboration, and holistic, sustainable, and inclusive development. I'll talk a little more about this when we talk about the design course. We started with this founding leadership team headed by Professor Vyas Murthy, who's the Vice Chancellor. Professor O'Neill is a Pro-Vice Chancellor and the Dean of School of Economics as well as the School of Business. Dr. Piyush Roy, who's an award-winning filmmaker, is the Dean of the School of Liberal Arts and Sciences. And Professor Vinay Mundara is the Dean of the School of Design and Innovation. This School of Design and Innovation currently offers two programs. We have a Bachelor of Design program, which is a 4-year program. We are offering 4 specializations or majors, what we call them: product design, communication design, user experience design, and spatial and interior design. The Master of Design program currently offers 2 specializations: user experience design and communication design. The unique thing about the RVU program is we work on a major and minor concept. Student could choose to major in one of the design specializations: product design, communication design, user experience design, or spatial design. We also have multidisciplinary collaborations with industry as well as with other educational institutions, and we believe in a project-based experiential learning system. So these are some of the minors that we're going to be offering. One is brand experience design from School of Design. Then we have a digital experience designs, spatial experience, designing smart products. School of Economics is offering School of Economics is offering entrepreneurship and marketing, psychology, and the School of Liberal Arts is offering minors in psychology, filmmaking, and Indology. The Bachelor of Design program starts with a common foundation, followed by year two, which is exploration, uh, collaboration, and sharing. Uh, The Master of Design program is a 4 semester program. We have a similar structure, except uh, in the Master of Design program, we focus more on the design courses. The MDes students also get a chance to take open electives along from the other schools. And with the Master of Design, we also have two pathways for students. Either they could take a research path or an entrepreneurship path. Okay. Uh, uh, our campus is co-located with the RV College of Engineering campus. And there's going to be new facilities for design as well as the university. I just play a video which talks about the design, the campus, and the infrastructure.
Adopting a holistic approach to integrate the new RV University with the existing campus grew from the creation of two grand avenues that tie the future developments seamlessly existing buildings. Opening up the area in the administrative zone, we imagine the campus utilizes shared facilities within 5 distinct zones. The first phase of the RV University, the academic zone with 3 schools, is modeled around landscape streets that become incubators for students' activities and collaborations. Adopting
Uh, Abbey University also has collaborations, several international collaborations, as well as domestic collaborations with various institutions and other government bodies as well. Uh, we have currently started our first batch, and we're now taking admissions for the second cohort. Uh, we also have the booth set up as part of PDF for students who are interested. We could always come in there. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the presentation. I think we have a good array of universities to choose from for all the students who are attending today's session, or the potential students who are attending today's session, and definitely they would I'm expecting they would reach out to you if they have any questions or queries related to your universities. And let's see if we have any questions. So, one question we have over here is what should aspirants look for while selecting a design school to enroll into? We kind of, I think, did cover this. Seema had answered this, but I think there are some new joiners. So, would someone like to elaborate on this again?
I'd like to contribute something like
Sure.
now all the schools are having some. We have our web pages, web presence we have, and everybody is having their each university is having their own setup, labs. What are the facilities you can see, but as a aspirants, you should go and check the faculty profile first. That who
Hmm.
are the faculty there and who are the people who are going to be associated with, and then you start looking at like what kind of projects they do, what kind of collaborations they have, or maybe who are in the near vicinity to the same university, because most of the time you need help from each other. So that could be a part which plays the major role.
Got it. Got it. Is there are there any other questions anybody wants to ask?
Shivani, if I could add to
Sure,
what Manas just said and what was
definitely.
also discussed about what one should look at. I feel in today's context, as the design curriculum are very unique and evolving, I'll just reprioritizing that. One can look at the curriculum of the various schools, what they are offering in terms of how contemporary it is, how inclusive it is, how open it is to give opportunity for students to learn not just one specialization, but probably the whole ecosystem around it. So that's something I would just add to it.
If I could just add something as well. Yesterday we had a very interesting discussion on design education, at PDF. And one of the professors mentioned this thing about how you make a dish of biryani. Biryani is the same. It's the same dish, but it has different flavors. So much like
Right.
that, there are design schools that have different flavors. So some might be more technologically um, adept. Some might be more entrepreneurially adept. Some might provide, students with excellent navigation skills. Um, so you have different colleges offering different strengths. But having said that, within a college itself, it's also important what course you choose. For example, at Shishti, we have a 4-year undergraduate program and a 3-year undergraduate program. How do you choose? So when you look at a Bachelor of Vocation in Design, for example, that is more skill focused and application oriented. It makes you ready for the job. You know, um, the moment you hit the ground, you can hit it running. When you do the BDES
Right.
program, that is more conceptual, and very often the on-job training has to be done when you're employed. And many design professionals will say that I hire a new designer and then it takes me 1.5 years to get them to work. But that's
Right.
usually because you get people who are conceptually thing. So again, it's not just the college, but also the course that you have to choose very carefully.
Yeah, I would
Definitely.
like to
And I
add
think it's
one
a
more
trial
point.
and error.
I would like to
Sure.
add one more
Go
point.
ahead.
Many of the parents generally they ask us like, what are the placement thing? How much is the package? How much? Frankly speaking, this should be the least priority, because for like with God's full blessings, our profession is still making money. So with people, the students will never run out of a job. That's of sure after 4 years or 2 years of MDes, whatever it is. So that's why we should not look at what are the kind of that fellow got 15 lakhs or that fellow got 5 lakhs. So I am unique. I am somebody else. I have my own thing.
Right.
Fine. Thank you.
Got it. Okay. I think we do not have any further questions, and there's just like 1 minute to closing this session. But I would definitely, on the closing note, say that we'll remember to have a wonderment inside us and have that curiosity, empathy, and grace, and always have an attitude of seeing the glass full. Also, to choose a college, looking at the faculty profile, grad shows, connecting people with people on LinkedIn, and not just like being like a sponge or a tissue, right? As someone mentioned earlier, like just absorbing, volunteering, and trying out different things to finally understand what exactly our, I would say, ikigai is, like the purpose, or at the end, that's what we are here, to have a purpose of existence. So definitely, thank you so much to all the panelists for your valuable time. And yes, that's thanks once again. Thanks for
Thank you,
joining in.
Shivani,
To all
for
the
the
panelists as well.
good
Yes,
inputs.
and thanks to ADI for consistently holding such platforms of dissemination. Terrific. Bye bye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.